I guess in order to ask some questions, we need some people out here on stage, right?
Yes.
I love that you guys are awesome. All right, without any further ado, I'm so happy. Let's bring out Casper and Grace Van Dien.
Hi.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
I'm so excited. Casper, we got to work together in Lakeland earlier this year, and you decided to bring somebody with you this time.
I'm always cooler when I have her with me.
I don't know. I mean,
I'm much cooler with her.
much cooler. Okay, 'cause, Casper, I mean, you are the epitome of cool, I believe.
Oh.
I mean, what do you guys think?
Yes.
Absolutely. And I'm super excited. This is the first time I've had a father-daughter combo up on stage with me. I want to ask a little bit about that. And Grace, when did you realize that you wanted to get into the industry? Did you feel any pressure to follow the footsteps?
No, he didn't want me to get into acting. I remember coming home from school and being like, I think I'll take like a year off. And he was like, no. And he sat me down and he stood behind me and made sure I applied to colleges. And then when he went away, I pulled all my applications. Sorry.
Are you just finding out about this right now?
No, I mean, I always wanted my kids to do whatever they wanted to do.
Right.
But I got held back in first grade because I couldn't read. So it was very important to me that my children learn how to read. And Gracie's one of the best readers. I became a really good reader, but I wasn't when I was young. Because I found out later I'm dyslexic. So in doing that, I always wanted to encourage them to study and do well. But when I got a chance to direct my first movie, I wanted her to be the lead.
That's true.
She's 17, so at that time she was the lead. She'd been in small things. I didn't want her to do something where I couldn't protect her right away at first when she was young. So if I had a part where she could be an extra or do a one line in something in a couple movies, she was there. And then when I was able to direct this movie, I thought, no, she'd be the perfect Sleeping Beauty. So,
That's
and
awesome.
she really was.
Now, you mentioned being dyslexic. Did you find that was an issue when you were starting out in the industry? That maybe you had to work a little bit harder on reading the scripts.
What?
Tell the blue sky story.
The Blue Sky story? I don't remember the Blue Sky story.
Okay. My dad would tell me this story about how he went into an audition and he did the first scene and the casting director was like, oh my gosh, yes, Casper, that's exactly what I've been looking for. Like, you did it perfectly. Like, perfect, amazing. Like, I already know you're it. Let's just move on to the second scene so we can send this off to the producers. And they do the second scene, and the very last line, he goes, the blue is sky. And he goes, oh, fuck, sorry, let's just do it again. And she's like, okay, that's totally fine, Casper, let's just do it again. And he gets to the end, he goes, the blue is sky. And she's like, that's okay, let's just try it one more time. And he goes, the blue is sky again. And she's like, all right. So yes, it has affected his career.
Yeah, I went from her describing, this is exactly, I've been waiting for somebody to come do it this way, to me screwing the whole pooch on that one, and not getting the job. Because my brain, and it's been since I was young, what I do is I switch the middle words and the middle letters. So sometimes I'll have a very dramatic pause in acting, and somebody will go, my God, what were you thinking? And I was like, well, I was just trying to figure out what the words were like in my head. But I guess it's a thoughtful look, or also sometimes people say it's resting murder face. I didn't know I had that, but apparently.
You definitely know you have resting murder face.
I don't mean to.
All my friends growing up, they were like, yeah, your parents are scary, so do you want to come over to mine?
I mean, I guess it could work, in your benefit as well.
Oh yeah. boyfriends after meeting him were gone.
But in my defense, like she was working at this shop once, and she goes, "Dad, can you come in?" She asked me to come in, and I go, "So which one of you is the one that's taking my daughter to the prom?" And the guys all go like this, and they point to the one guy, and I'm like, "Just remember, whatever you do to my daughter, I'm going to do to you."
After prom, I went up to him and I was like, "Dad, so it looks like you're gonna have to dip me and scoop
Dip
me
him.
and slow dance."
Dip him.
Dip him. Oh yeah, dip him and slow dance with him.
I
Yeah.
looked at him, and he's like,
I asked him. I didn't have a date, so I just asked my friend that I worked with.
yeah. But she liked when I come in. She always liked when I came in and
Threaten people.
yeah.
Nice.
So when did you realize that the acting industry, the entertainment industry, was something that you wanted to do?
When I worked with my dad, I always wanted to go into psychology and be like a therapist that specializes in specific patients. Or I wanted to be a writer because I found that would be therapeutic for me. And then when he cast me, I was like, oh no, this is very therapeutic because I get to completely let go of my whole backstory and take on whatever this character's life was. And that was nice.
She was the best thing in the movie.
Thanks, Dad.
So what type of writing? Like a book, novel, movie?
Novels. I liked writing novels. I would have been a terrible writer professionally though, because I never finished any of my books.
She's always been very creative. And when she was young, she'd be on set. You know, yes, you see children running around and doing things, but I'd always look over, and Gracie would be over there. She always had a book with her or something, but she'd be looking, observing everything, and that's.
Plotting.
Well, I'm an observer of people. It's just what I think it's an actor thing. It's like people that you're studying different people.
We also found out a little bit later that I'm pretty blind, so
Yeah.
I was probably just trying to figure out what was going on around.
Casper, did you, when you were, I don't want to say the year because it's going to bruise a lot of egos in here, but when you were filming Starship Troopers, did you realize at that point that it might have some longevity, or was that just a job and you were going to move on to the next job? Because any Starship Troopers fans in here?
When Starship Troopers, when I got that, and I was a huge Verhoeven fan beforehand, but my greatest day on set, I have many great days on set, but one of them was we had 1,400 extras running. It's when the drop ships are coming, all these explosions are going off. We had 1,400 extras, 30 stuntmen, 30 actors, all with live weapons, not the extras, but the stuntmen and the actors. We're all running around shooting, doing all this. And I looked over, and behind the camera, I saw Paul Verhoeven, the director of RoboCop, Ed Neumeyer, the writer of RoboCop, John Davison, the producer of RoboCop, and Phil Tippett, the visual effects genius behind RoboCop. And I looked over there and I went, well, wait a minute. I'm number one on my call sheet here, and Peter Weller was number one on his call sheet, so I'm Murphy. Reference for some of you that don't know, that's a great Verhoeven movie, RoboCop. So, but that just became something that was overwhelming to know that I was in something. I thought Starship Troopers would be much huger than it was at the time. It unfortunately went over a lot of people's heads, but a lot of people revisited it. And today's audience, this young audience, is much more that their parents, a lot of them are cool and have really got it into them, and so now there's a better understanding of it. And unfortunately, the political commentary in it is still extremely prevalent today.
How many months were you filming it?
6.5 months straight.
So during those 6.5
7 months
months,
total.
what was the best day of your life?
The best day of my life was
During those 6.5 months.
October 15th, 1996.
Why? What happened on that day, Dad?
The day before, I was in the water tank getting my leg worked on, and they let me out the next day, the only day I had off in the entire production. Grace was born. I felt like I was in utero with her, because I was in that, in that water tank for a little bit. And the next day I was back in the tank, and Harrison Ford walked on the set. Because Vic Armstrong was our second unit director, and he was directing that day, so I got to meet Grace and Harrison Ford in the same week. Definitely, this was the coolest part.
I knew that was coming, so I quickly looked at you.
I knew who it was. I mean, Harrison's cool, but nobody's cooler than Grace.
And very recently, people have been reaching out to you as a little video game.
Oh, yeah.
Helldivers 2 makes some references, and a lot of folks have approached you about maybe wanting to do something with that franchise.
Well, it's very interesting. I mean, I love all the tributes to Starship Troopers, and I love anything that pushes it towards it. I've also seen another game, and I just got to see some of the footage of it called Starship Troopers Extermination.
Yes.
I'm allowed to say that I saw it. Yeah, I'm allowed to say that. And I'm very excited to see more of that. So we'll see. That they're coming out hopefully soon. And so, but I love all these tributes to Starship. I would love to go back and make a TV series about it. So that would be a cool thing. I almost had it done with Robert Rodriguez.
But I'm Johnny Rico.
Yeah, Gracie wants to be Johnny Rico. Be cool. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
I think it would be really cool. Little Johnny Rico.
Juanita Rico.
Juanita. Yeah, very good.
Jennifer.
And Grace, were you a fan of Stranger Things before you were cast?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So when you were did you know? Because there's sometimes projects, big projects are often kept under wraps when you are auditioning. Did you realize that was what you were auditioning for? And being a fan of it, did that add any extra stress to it?
Yeah, I knew it was what I was auditioning for, but I just immediately was under the impression where I was like, I'm not getting this. I was like, there's no way. That'd be too cool. So I put myself on tape in my apartment, and I sent it off, and then I went and watched a movie, and on the drive home, I was like, I need to redo that. I did so bad. And then I was like, I'm not going to get it anyway. Why does it matter? I'm not going to redo it. So, but then, I didn't. I got it.
Yeah, I was so proud of her.
Yeah.
Did you realize while you were filming, and especially the scene, for no spoilers for those who may not have seen it, did you realize that that line here was going to be so iconic that people would be yelling it to you probably for the rest of your life?
No, Joe and I did not realize at all that him yelling at my floating body would turn into a TikTok. No.
Does it seem like, there's been action figures, Funko Pop, all these things, for both of you, collectibles. Do you have any of that stuff at home anywhere? Do you have a collection of I don't want to say a mural or anything, or a collector's shrine? That's the word. Thank you. Listen, it's still morning. A shrine, to some of the works that you guys have done.
No, my Funko Pop is out in September, so I don't have it yet. But I've seen some like H&M did a hoodie with my face on it, which is so fucking weird. It's so weird to see that.
I gotta get that.
I don't have any of these things.
I have a Chrissy altar in my house. I have all these little sewn Chrissies, and I have a Chrissy candle.
Someone made me a custom Chrissy Funko Pop, so I have that, but her arm fell off, and I don't know where it is, so she's just like armless.
A couple of years ago, Universal Studios had a Stranger Things house.
Last year.
Was it last year?
Yeah.
Was it last year? Did anybody go?
I did.
Yeah.
I went, and there was a Chrissy at the end of the thing, and I thought she was fake, so I was like, taking selfies with her, and she was not fake. She jumped out at me and screamed, and it was horrible. My friend has a picture of me like.
So you scared yourself.
She was a little too short to actually be me, which is like a flex because I'm pretty short.
Yeah,
I was very proud to be taller than her.
Did you do a picture with her?
I just said I have. Oh no, like an official picture?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, you should have.
She couldn't change her face. She was wearing a mask where it was like permanently like jaw down to here. Yeah.
Normally with these things, we usually have a microphone in these rooms for questions, but I feel like this room, the acoustics are good, everything, it's intimate setting. So if you do have questions, raise your hand, and we'll get to. I saw your hand first. What's your name?
I'm Caleb.
Hi, Caleb.
Hi, Caleb.
Hi.
Starship Troopers 3.
Yes, this is Colonel Rico in Starship Troopers 3.
General Rico.
General Rico in Starship Troopers 4.
Yeah.
How did you lose your eye between these movies?
That's a bug. Always bugged me. I don't know. I have to get to the bottom of that. I have to.
We went so long without a dad joke.
How often does he throw dad jokes out?
Oh, I stream on Twitch, and every other stream that I do, people are like, "Time to call Casper," and they want me to call him just so that we can get a run of dad jokes going.
Don't tell your dad.
They love it. It's nonstop with this one.
So your hand.
Grace, so I wanted to ask you about Stranger Things. So you and Joe had limited screen time, but your guys' chemistry was so perfect. Was that something you guys practiced off screen? Was that a lot of improv during filming on set?
Yeah, I mean, him and Mason, who played Jason, they were the first people I met. So I went over to Joe's for dinner. He made us dinner, and then we just became like best buds while I was there. So we hung out a bunch of times. Joe and I went to like the gardens in Atlanta, and we went to the aquarium with Mason, and like we did like a bunch of activities outside of filming. So when it came time to do the scene, that was like my last day on set, in the forest scene. So that was like after 6 months of friendship. So everything was very organic. And whenever he plays Eddie, he's a little bit more clumsy. So all of that was it was fun to laugh at him.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Well,
You're right there.
How did it feel when you first did the film of Stranger Things?
Like on my first day?
Yeah, first day.
My first day was the bathroom scene where I'm with Sadie Sink, and she was just so cool, and the Duffer Brothers were so cool, but they were also so welcoming. Like there was no ego, which was really interesting to see because I'd expect some ego. It would be deserved, but there wasn't, and so it was just really cool. And I felt very allowed to be artsy, so screaming. But there's the scene in the bathroom where there's Vecna's feet under the bathroom stall, and I have to be so terrified and screaming at them. And obviously that's all CGI, so they were just like, who's the crew member with the ugliest shit? And so it's literally just some guy walks in, and I just see his like muddy sneakers under the door stall, and I'm like screaming and in the corner, and then he has to like walk away. Yeah. Behind the scenes of that would be funny, but I'm glad that they're not released.
Casper, love the shirt, by the way.
Me too. Burrito tacos. Woo!
What future projects are you most excited about coming out right now?
You're not allowed to talk about it.
One I'm not allowed to talk about, but I can talk about a Western I just did. And I got to do a lot of riding in that one. I did all my own. I put a picture up of me on this horse, this paint, beautiful horse. Wilder Smith, who was on Yellowstone. He plays young. His dad's the one with the handlebar, the white guy. What's his name? Oh my God, Smith. His dad plays, the best friend of the guy that works there for Forrest. Anyhow, he did all the horses. He had the horse on this. I got to do all this. I posted a picture of me on a horse, and somebody goes, "This reminds me of the Sleepy Hollow commentary where Tim Burton said, thank God Casper Van Dien can really ride a horse." And I didn't even know he said that in the commentary, so it's cool. I did do all my own horse stunts in Sleepy Hollow. But I did all my own horse stunts on this one, and it's because of her great-grandfather. He gave me a horse when I was young, and he said, "If you want to learn how to really ride, you're going to do that." So Robert Mitchum gave me a horse, and I broke that horse and learned how to ride, and I'm pretty good on a horse because of him. I rode before, but that really teaches you to ride when you have to break a horse for that. And she was an amazing horse, and then I got to ride this paint, and I did the most riding I've ever did. And Wilder and I were just going in and out, galloping up and down. And he's amazing on a horse. I mean, I wouldn't even pretend to be like him, but he would just show me something and go, "Just do it like this." And I come in, and he goes, "Good following direction. I'm an actor." My job. So I could do that one. It's called Guns of Redemption. I'm excited. It's got Sean Astin in it. He was also in Stranger Things. And Jeff Fahey, who's was in Silverado and is in Horizon coming out. And Lawnmower Man. I mean, he's in everything. I've done 7 movies with him. Danny and I did a movie with him together. We had a scene together. It was a lot of fun.
In the back, I saw your, yes.
How did you react when you saw the Christmas death scene in Stranger Things?
They stole you.
I thought it was very dark. To be fair, the Duffer Brothers told me that it was going to be the most dark and horrific death in all of Stranger Things. So I expected that. I don't know, it was my first time dying. So I'm glad it was kind of epic.
Yeah, I was so proud of her.
Thanks, Dad.
You died well. Sleepy Hollow, I got cut in half, so I'm like,
Yeah.
We can compare these death scenes.
Mine's good.
Yours is much cooler.
Mine might be one of the coolest deaths.
It is, but I mean, mine. I got cut in half by Darth Maul, though. Ray Park. He had just showed me Darth Maul, so it wasn't. But your scene was cooler. And everything you did, every crunch and everything. I was like, everyone's like, "Oh my God, was that hard for you to see?" And I go, "No, I'm so proud of my daughter."
One person asked me, because I guess they didn't, I don't know. They asked me if they specifically sought out a contortionist to play Chrissy, and I was like, "You think I'm a what now? I don't even do yoga. I don't know if I can touch my toes anymore." Dad.
I'm sorry for my voice breaking and all that, but I want to know, what was your thoughts on, Chrissy's, mental health breaking down throughout, the bathroom scene and so on and so forth?
I tend to find characters that I tend to get cast as characters that I relate to very well. So I guess you wouldn't even call me an actor. Because I'm not ever acting. It's all very much true to me. So all of her mental health and the struggles she had and her issues with her mom, it was very parallel to my life. So there wasn't much acting necessary. It was kind of, like I said earlier, acting is very therapeutic for me. But I'm on antidepressants now, so we'll see. Maybe I can play happy people now.
Yay, antidepressants.
My question is, would you ever want to get back to playing as Chrissy at some point? And if so, what would you want to see the character in terms of in the future?
She doesn't have eyes or bones anymore.
She's just a bunch of flesh.
She'd be like a little blobfish on the ground.
You would love to play a blobfish.
I would love to play a blobfish. Honestly.
Honestly, she would.
No, but if I could go back to Chrissy and she's not a pretzel, I would, Eddie would have to come back too. And it would have to be, I'd love to see them play out because they're, Joe and I played their scene with a lot of flirtation and tension, so it'd be cool to see that blossom more.
I was wondering, in the first Starship Troopers, what was it like to work with Michael Ironside?
Woo!
Well, yeah.
I've worked with him too.
Yeah, she's worked with him as well. So
Awesome.
I still hear his voice in my head to this day. I mean, he was a mentor for my character in the script, but he was a mentor in real life for me. So he's somebody that I really admire and look up to, and I do hear his voice often, and he would give me little tricks of the trade, and he's just somebody that I still hear his voice.
I remember when I worked with him, they were like, "Oh, Michael, this is Grace," and he was already walking away from me, and he was like, "Oh yeah, hi, nice to meet you." And I was like, "Michael, you worked with my dad." And he was like, "Oh yeah, who's your dad, kid?" Still not facing me, not turning around. I think he was expecting me to say like some random person he would have forgotten at this point because he's worked so many years. And I was like, Casper Van Dien, and he immediately was like, "Your dad's Casper Van Dien." And then the rest of the shoot, he was just so lovely to especially me. And wouldn't stop complimenting me and sent me this long email just being like, "You have it, kid." And she immediately turned into my mentor. So I'm like, okay. My dad's a good guy then. Every time I mention my dad to anyone who's worked with him, they're immediately so nice to me.
Well,
So either your threats work, or you're the kindest person ever.
I appreciate that. I do get I watch every single person that I've worked with and that I know over the years, and they meet Gracie, and they all fall in love with her right away. So it's always beautiful to see. And this business is, there's a lot of good people in it. There's a lot of, there's weird people and different people, but there's a lot of good people, and it's always fun to see. But it's also really, as a father, it's really rewarding to see how much they take to her. I mean, Danny loves her, and all these guys will come like, "I love your daughter. I love your daughter." I'm like, "I know, thank you, man, thank you."
But then they come up to me and they're like Daddy, he's always coming up to me going, "When am I working with your dad again?"
But it's gonna make both of you feel good, that.
I'm happy he's not an asshole.
I'm less of an asshole because she's so kind. Her and my wife Jenny, they're both two of the kindest people I've ever seen. I watch her with her fans, and I watch her at these cons, and how generous she is, and how kind. And I couldn't be more proud as a father. I mean, if there's that's the most accomplishment I think I could ever say. You can have all the career and everything like that, but when you have somebody that is that has that superpower of kindness, that's we need more of that. So
I want to talk about that real quick, and that is, you do get to work these shows, these conventions with each other. How cool is it, looking over and seeing your dad there, and
it's the best. I love it so much. And whenever anyone gives me a Chrissy gift, he immediately runs over and takes it and puts it on his table.
I took a picture today with the cutout version of you. Somebody brought a cutout version of you.
Yeah.
Cardboard standing tall thing, and I was like,
Yeah.
I love it. For me, it's awesome because I look over and it makes it even more fun for me. And I know I did something right if she turned out to be this perfect.
Growing up, he was always like, "You're so funny looking. Where'd you get your funny looks from?" Because I know it wasn't me.
Well, I used to go, do the Smeagol. I would also go, do the Powerpuff Girl. I go, wait a minute. I go, what color hair does Bubbles have? And she goes, Lelo. I go, what color hair do you have? She goes, Lelo. I go, what color eyes does Bubbles have? She goes, blue. And I go, what color eyes do you have? Blue. And I go, and who's the baby sister? She goes, Bubbles. And who's his baby sister and everything? She goes, me. Mommy, Bubbles!
I scream.
And she laugh and go like so. So it was great.
No, my favorite memory growing up with you is if I was sobbing, like outright sobbing. I was a very amenable child. I'd be just so upset about something, and he'd go, "Gracie, happy face." Gracie, happy face, and I'd be like, I was just like, whatever you want, I guess.
Start laughing so hard. You have a question? You had your hand up. Oh, I would love to be in Marvels. One of the greatest thrills of my life is Stanley pitched me a series once. And I had the same agent as him, but they wanted me to go with somebody else, but I was like, no, I'm going with him. And when I met him, he was like, I got this, he goes, I got an idea. He goes, what's your, Casper, that's an interesting name. I go, yeah, we all have different middle names. He goes, well, what's your dad's name? I go, it's the same as mine. He goes, well, what's your grandfather? I go, Anson, Casper Anson. What's your great-grandfather? Anson, Casper Force. And he goes, okay, so you're going to be Anson Force. That's how he started. And I'm like, I'm looking at this. This is in 2000. I'm looking at Stanley going, oh my God. And after we had the meeting, he goes, hey, you know, if they ever make a Captain America, you'd be perfect as Cap. And I went, oh my God. I couldn't beat Chris Evans. He did amazing, so I'm not trying to say anything like that. But it was one of the hugest compliments I ever got in my career was having Stanley say that to me before all the Marvel things were happening. So I loved him, and I would have loved to have done that. But
you would have been a cooler Captain America.
Yes, so sweet. I don't know about that, but I appreciate it.
That was before Carol calls me back. Can you say that again?
Yeah.
I'll say it again.
So I don't know. I did get to play Tarzan. So he was a superhero. I'm the 20th Tarzan. So he was the first. He's the OG. He's before Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman. You know, everybody can say all these they're the first superhero. I'm like, Tarzan was written in 1912. The first Tarzan movie was 1918. I mean, I'm just gonna go out on a limb there. But also, you know, I mean, that's Edgar Rice Burroughs. I'm a huge fan of his writing and stuff like that. So, and my dad's idol. My dad's my idol. His idol as a kid was Johnny Weissmuller and Tarzan and all the Tarzan books. So when I get to play my idol's idol, it was one of the biggest thrills of my life too.
Who's your idol?
Who's my dad?
Well, I can't play him.
Sure you can. He was a Navy pilot. You could be a Navy pilot.
How you doing, Harris?
So this is for both of you. Is there anything that, like any costumes or set pieces that you've taken from any jobs, Chrissy specific, or not Chrissy, but from your Chrissy character, anything from Stranger Things specifically, like costumes or any sets?
From Stranger Things, I took the 86 necklace and her bracelet. I wish I would have taken her whole outfit. They had a whole cheer team worth of them, so I could have. But I'm so scared to do that kind of stuff. But I wish I did. But I don't know. I've got a lot of friends on the set, so I've kind of put a little like, hey, can you please, if you happen to run into it, snag me one.
I don't have anything.
Anything from Starship?
I was given a couple of things, but I gave them to some charity things way back when. So I don't have anything. I have my Starship Troopers chair. It's kind of dilapidated, but my director's chair, it's all worn out and fallen.
I remember when I was 11 or so, I had to do a book report for a class, and it was either do a puppet show or make a mini movie.
Yeah.
And so I read Starship Troopers, and I decided to make a mini movie. All the other kids probably fucking hated me. But Dad went and asked the guy who holds all the storage for the costumes and production design if we could borrow some of the things. So I got to wear the Johnny Rico helmet in my mini movie for class.
So cute. She called it Starship Troopers 4, and she had one of my best friends who's a director and a camera operator. He came and operated it with his two daughters, and she had them in there. One of those is now a director, and he also directed her movie later.
And I had another one of your special effects friends come, and we superimposed one of his action figure bugs from the movie, and we superimposed it to make it look like it was attacking
Forced perspective.
us. Yeah, forced perspective. And it
She knew
blew
this
up. Oh, it was awesome.
and then another one of my friends helped her edit it, and she was like, but she was the boss.
You died.
She was, she goes, I go, oh yeah, I'll come in and play Johnny Rico. She goes, no, I'm Johnny Rico. You're just a trooper. I think I was like Sam or something like that. I don't remember.
You were in the book.
Yeah.
I don't know
But
if you made
it
it
was
to the official movie.
In the back? Yes.
Sorry.
You don't have to be sorry.
Why you gotta say it like that?
You could be happy like this. I kind of figured.
Working with Joe and Mason and all of them, and the cheerleaders. They taught me how to do the whole cheer in like an hour.
Dang.
I didn't. The Duffer Brothers were like, you don't have to learn how to do the cheer. You can just stand off to the side and like be like the captain that's really proud of them. And I was like, okay. But then we had so much extra time before filming that I was just like, oh, we're bored. Just teach me the dance for fun. And they did. And then the Duffer Brothers were like, Grace, we're so sorry. Do you think you could do like learn it really quick, learn like just a piece of it? And I was like, I know the whole thing. So it was like working with all the people that were there for just one day or there for the entire time. That was my favorite part. They were really cool.
If you could, in like any production you were in, to be a different character, who would you be?
In any production you're asking her?
Yeah.
Oh, both of us or just me?
Yeah, both.
I want to be Vecna. I couldn't outdo Jamie, so maybe I'd want to be like baby Vecna, like his little friend that also looks like him.
I want to be Chrissy's dad.
Yeah, I wanted to be Chrissy's dad, and I was like, he doesn't have any lines, and he was like, perfect. Dyslexic anyway.
And then she goes, but they already cast somebody. I go, well, I don't want him to get fired.
Are there any roles? Are there any dream roles that you do have?
Johnny Rico.
I fully support that. Time for a female Johnny Rico.
Let's go.
And you would be Johnny Rico's dad,
Of course, I'll be Papa Rico.
who both have extraordinary death scenes that you have to outdo each other in.
Yeah, death from above.
So there's going to be one last question with you.
Okay. Grace, what was the age that you first saw Starship Troopers, and was it awkward?
We almost made it, Casper. We almost. So, okay. Earlier this year, we were at a show in Lakeland, and 30 of the 45 minutes were about that. So, at least we got almost to the end. You want to answer that?
I was 5, I think. 5 or 6. When I saw like Starship Troopers and Sleepy Hollow, like I saw like a whole stream of the movies.
In one night.
Loved Sleepy Hollow. Loved it. So good. No, I think I have 5 siblings, and the rest of them give him more shit for being naked on screen than I do. I think mainly because, I'm an actor, and I haven't done it yet. I have like a no nudity clause, but you never know when that could change for the right director, right script, so I can't give him shit so that he can't give me shit. For future Grace's decisions.
They tricked the person looking after them, and I said, you what? You let him watch Starship Troopers and Sleepy Hollow? I mean, she's, whatever she was, 5 or 6 or 7, or whatever the heck she was, and they were just a little bit older than her, the older ones. Said, and they're like, well, your son ran out, but she stayed in and watched everything. I'm like, why'd you let them watch my movies? She goes, well, you're a nice man. I figured you'd make nice movies.
And my older sister, she told her, she was like, oh yeah, he's our dad. He lets us watch his movies. Like, it's fine. We see these all the time. We haven't seen any of them.
They were tricksters.
Well, that is going to be our time. On that note, that is going to be our time. Any last words? I do have some last words. And it's being up here has been amazing because, Grace, while you've been talking, it has been amazing to see your dad's pride in you. I can visibly see it. I can
Don't
physically
stop.
see
No,
it.
we've done so many panels together, and he cries at every single one.
I have not cried today.
I know.
I think you cry, and then it's all on him.
I don't want it.
So any last words for our fans here in Des Moines who came out to see you?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.